Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited, Delta cancels Northwest Dreamliner order. The Zenith Rudder Workshop is coming to the U.S. Sport Aviation Expo. Unhappy neighbor takes aim at a drone in Kansas City. Hello, I'm Christopher C. Odom. It's December 30th, 2016, and this is Airborne Unlimited. It looks like Boeing has taken a bit of a hit as Delta Airlines has reached an agreement with the airplane builder to cancel an order placed for 18 Boeing 787 Dreamliner aircraft that Delta assumed in 2008 as part of its merger with Northwest Airlines. While specific terms of the agreement are not disclosed, Delta will continue to take delivery of the new 737-900ER aircraft through 2019 as two orders totaling 120 of the narrow-body jets are fulfilled. Delta's Greg May said, "Delta is one of the world's largest operators of Boeing aircraft, and our valued partnership with Boeing will remain strong as we safely and comfortably serve our customers across the world every day." The business decision is consistent with Delta's fleet strategy to prudently address our wide-body aircraft needs. For the first time, Zenith Aircraft Company is bringing their two hands-on kit aircraft building workshop to the Sebring U.S. Sport Aviation Expo. Participants will actually build and complete a full-sized aircraft component. The rudder workshops, which are usually held at the Zenith factory in Mexico, Missouri, have become popular with sport aviation enthusiasts who have considered building their own aircraft, but were not sure if they could handle the required skills, workspace, and tools. Now, a traveling roadshow. During the two-day workshop, participants actually construct a Zenith aircraft rudder assembly from a standard kit. The workshop will be offered twice. The first one will run on Wednesday and Thursday, and the second on Friday and Saturday. The fee for the workshop is $375, and you'll walk away with your own Zenith aircraft rudder, combined with a great sense of satisfaction. However, if you just want to get a quick idea of what it's all about, a free 1-hour hands-on workshop seminar and demonstration will be held daily from 12:30 to 1:30 during the U.S. Sport Aviation Expo at the Zenith Aircraft Workshop tent. The 2017 Expo is scheduled for January 25th through 28th. After the break, a drone is targeted with a BB gun.
Explore no limits flying in the FAA-certified Sea Ray Amphibious LSA, one of the top 3 best-selling LSAs in the U.S. Progressive Aerodyne Sea Ray comes equipped with a Rotax engine and exhibits extraordinary handling on land, water, and in the air. Check it out at www.searay.com.
Since the early days of powered flight, pilots have struggled with landing in crosswinds. In fact, crosswinds and wind gusts cause more landing accidents than fog, thunderstorms, and icing combined. That's where the Redbird X-Wind SE comes in. By placing pilots in gusty crosswind conditions for extended periods of time, the X-Wind SE gives instructors all the time they need to teach the pilot the proper techniques for landing in crosswind conditions. For more information on Redbird X-Wind SE and Redbird's entire line of flight training devices, visit www.redbirdflightsimulation.com.
Based on the popular Sling 2 LSA, the Sling 4 was designed to be the most practical and desirable lightweight 4-place experimental aircraft on the market. Find out more about this 115 horsepower turbocharged airplane at airplanefactory.com.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
Welcome back. If you'd like to be a supporter of Airborne Unlimited, send an email to jim@aero-news.net. Among the likely tens of thousands of people to unwrap a drone this Christmas season was Chris Van Meerhaeg, a real estate photographer who intends to use the aircraft in his business. Van Meerhaeg got his drone a few days before Christmas and decided to walk with the controller and fly it around his Kansas City, Missouri neighborhood. According to a report from a television station, WDAF, this resulted in some shooting at his drone. It's reported that within a short time, a neighbor pulled up and started making threats about the aircraft. It appears the disgruntled neighbor was using a BB gun, and when police got involved, they took no action against the shooter. According to the report, Van Meerhaeg was told he could be charged with flying a drone illegally in Kansas City. Now, the TV station reports that both the Kansas City Police Department and the City of Kansas City told the station that it is legal to fly a drone in the city, but that the operator does have to follow FAA guidelines. It's Friday, and that means it's time for ANN CEO and Editor-in-Chief Jim Campbell to check in with his weekly Barnstorming commentary. Jim says that he's ready to leave a tough year 2016 behind, and yet we're looking ahead to better things for the coming year. Here's this week's Barnstorming.
Thanks, Chris, and hi, folks. Well, 2016 is about at an end, and between you, me, and the fence post, good riddance. It was a tough year. There's a lot of things that we hoped and thought we'd see that we didn't. We made a little progress here and there, but not nearly enough. And God help us, we lost some really fine individuals. Where the aviation and aerospace world is still reeling from the loss of Bob Hoover and Ron Alexander and John Glenn. Three gentlemen who meant a great deal to me personally, Bob Hoover in particular. Because for the last several years, and especially since we started working again, more closely anyway, on the new Hoover documentary, we'd get involved in these great conversations about the future of the industry, the fights we undertook. And Bob was always highly amused at the battles we got into and the fights we'd picked, because to him, this was the highest form of patriotism, to question authority, but to do so respectfully and properly and, of course, based on the truth. And I had such a great time keeping up with all that and telling him what was going on and getting his insight from a guy who had fought battles far more serious than anything I will ever encounter, and did it as a true patriot. And his approval, frankly, was something that I loved dearly. And God help me, in the last conversation, I think the last conversation we had, he was trying to say goodbye, and I just couldn't let him. I wanted him to know how much we cared for him and how much I wanted him to see a future in which good, positive change was made and know that he had a hand in it all. And maybe somewhere, somehow, he'll be able to see all that. So now we look toward 2017. We have a new administration which will be apparently pro-business, which should reflect well on aviation. We have a new administration that hates over-regulation, which could be hugely helpful to the aviation industry. I'm hoping it will also be very anti-excessive lawsuit and liability, because that's getting to be a bigger and bigger problem to more and more of the industry, despite the 18-year statute of repose, which frankly isn't enough, didn't go far enough, and isn't doing the job it was supposed to. And yet there's so many things on the horizon. There is an end game to what we're trying to do with Airborne, Airborne Unlimited, and things like the AMA drone report and other announcements you'll hear from AUVSI and a number of other organizations that will be done in just a matter of days, if not done already. And it is exciting to us. But I need to let you know that we're reaching a point at which we're totally maxed out of what we're doing, and we're not going to need to reach out, get help, get support, and build, because this end game that I'm talking about, what we envision for this, could be one of the most powerful tools we offer the industry to help it build consensus, help it build community, help it define and use its voice once again, and help the whole industry come together in ways it never has. And in the little bits and pieces we've been able to work on so far, we've been hugely successful. Mind you, on the global scale, not very, but within the scope of what we've been doing so far, very successful, very powerful. And all we see is great things if we can continue on this road. And for that, we're going to need your help, and we'll tell you about it. But in the meantime, on the innovation front, there's really great things that could happen in 2017, and it behooves us all to push aggressively, swiftly, accurately, and powerfully toward a future that works for us all. It's time, folks. Aviation is not done. It's been swirling the drain, but it's time to rejuvenate it, reinvigorate it, and build a future that works for us all. I think we can do it. I believe we can do it. I promised Bob we would. I'm not going to break that promise. For the Aero-News Network, Airborne, and Aero-TV, I'm Jim Campbell, and have a Happy New Year to you all.
After these messages, some states' driver's licenses will not be accepted by the TSA in 2018.
The dream is real, a truly affordable personal jet aircraft. The Subsonics Personal Jet Kit is priced at only $42,000. Kit plus engine is still under $100K. Add instruments, upholstery, and paint and you're flying. It's time to put your money where your bucket list is. Learn more at sonicsaircraft.com.
Concorde's recombinant gas RG series sealed battery technology produces a high-performance battery with the advantages of being pre-tested and fully charged at the factory. Find out more about Concorde's entire line of batteries at www.concordebattery.com. Concorde, the heart of your aircraft.
The Bristol Light Sport aircraft is what you are looking for. The Bristol is wider than a Cirrus, faster than a Skyhawk, offers more storage than a Husky, and comes standard with Garmin avionics. So what are you waiting for? Visit Bristol.com to find out how you can get into a Bristol today.
Sandia introduces the new SAI 340 Quattro TSO'd airspeed, attitude, altitude, and slip with integral backup battery. Safety never looked so good. See it now at www.sandia.aero.
With so much news coming out of the aviation industry, we're summarizing a few of those other great stories in a brief segment we call Around the Patch. Beginning a year from now, people with a driver's license or ID card from 9 states will no longer be able to use them for airport TSA identification. It's reported that those states are Kentucky, Maine, Minnesota, Missouri, Montana, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, and Washington. NASA is mourning the loss of Piers Sellers, an astronaut and scientist who passed away last Friday of a pancreatic cancer. NASA Administrator Charles Bolden said that as a climate scientist, Piers devoted his life to saving the planet. Embraer Executive Jets has delivered the first Legacy 450 mid-light business jet to AirSprint, a Canadian fractional aircraft ownership company. AirSprint said they are thrilled to offer this new level of service to their owners and to introduce the Legacy 450. A state district court judge in Austin has upheld the state of Texas' right to regulate fees paid to air ambulances for transporting patients covered by workers' compensation insurance. This ruling only caps fees in conjunction with workers' compensation claims. WestJet announced that its 1,380 pilots have voted in favor of the company's plans to expand its wide-body operations. Such approval is required under the airline's agreement with the WestJet Pilots Association. WestJet currently operates 4 Boeing 767-300ER aircraft. Well, that's it for today's trip around the patch. Now, let's get back to the rest of the news. Encountering an unexpected animal on a runway or taxiway can be a dangerous situation, and it has resulted in fatal accidents. In this report, we find that Arlington Municipal Airport in Arlington, Texas, has a coyote problem, and the airport is requesting an FAA Airport Improvement Grant of roughly $1.2 million to help solve it. The Fort Worth Star-Telegram reports that to combat the problem, the airport has requested the grant to install wildlife-resistant fencing around the airport. The project would bring the airport into compliance with an FAA requirement that smaller airports take greater efforts to prevent collisions between airplanes and birds and land animals. Airport manager Karen Van Winkle told the paper that timing of the funding is not clear, and it could take as long as 2 years for the fence to be built. According to the FAA, other than deer, coyotes are the animals that most frequently stray onto runways. Well, that's our program for today. Remember that Airborne Unlimited stream daily, Monday through Friday, with additional breaking news bulletins for important stories that fall outside of our normal deadlines. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe. And do check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Get comprehensive, real-time, 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. Keep flying. We'll see you Tuesday.